First up, we've got The Snow Queen by Joan D. Vinci. This is a trade paperback edition which actually has a reader's guide inside with a glossary of terms and an interview with Vinci herself. Some really incredible artwork by Michael Whelan there. I've actually already finished reading this one. I'm a little bit behind on my review video, so this one will be coming up shortly. It is the first book in a series, and I've actually acquired the entire series, which is only 4 books long, as far as I'm aware. I've got another version of The Snow Queen by Joan D. Vinci. This one, I don't like the cover art as much, but it does have some embossed lettering, which is quite nice. So that's the first book in the series, The Snow Queen, which is followed up by a book called World's End by Joan D. Vinci. And this one has a different cover art style, but it is also really, really nice. You've got this kind of embossed bronze detailing on the artwork there. So this is the second book in the Snow Queen series. As you can see, it's a lot shorter, it's a lot smaller. And again, I've got another edition of it here with World's End. This version is different and has these strange little gargoyle kind of creatures on the cover. I don't like the artwork as much as the other one, but I think it's still got its own charm. It's not as nice a condition either. The third book in the Snow Queen series is The Summer Queen. Again, a similar trade paperback version here with another incredible piece of art by Michael Whelan on the front. And this one is absolutely enormous. It's 600 or 700 pages long, and they are big pages as well. So quite an intimidating one. Unfortunately, this one has the smell of cigarette smoke, which is really strong coming off of the book. So if anyone knows how I can get that out, that would be great. But my hunch is that I'm kind of stuck with it. And then the last book in the series is Tangled Up in Blue by Joan D. Vinci, with some artwork there which is more 90s feeling and actually evokes some cyberpunk vibes. But I do quite like this cover and this edition. So that is the Snow Queen series, which I'll probably plough on through. While we're on the subject of trade paperbacks, I've got Her Smoke Rose Up Forever by James Tiptree Jr., with some interesting artwork on the front there. For the uninitiated, James Tiptree Jr. was the pen name for Alice Sheldon, a female science fiction writer who primarily specialised in short stories, and this is a collection of some of her best short stories, supposedly. She adopted the pen name James Tiptree Jr. because she thought that she would have a better chance of being published in the science fiction magazines using a male pseudonym, which probably turned out to be correct, but also to provide some distance between herself and her writing because she was actually a member of the CIA. I do recommend going and looking into her life story because it's very interesting and it has a tragic end. So Her Smoke Rose Up Forever, James Tiptree Jr. Another one from a female author here with Dream Snake by Vonda N. McIntyre. So you'll see this one pop up quite a lot. And honestly, I think it normally has better cover art than this in some of the other editions that I've seen. But I think that that one is fairly cool. We've then got Sherry S. Tepper. Sherry Stepper. The Big Stepper. With Grass. This one is set on a planet that is totally engulfed in grass. And the first line of this novel is grass. So quite a good opening line there. really setting the scene. We've then got Pole and Kornbluth, the Space Merchants. I'm not sure I love this cover either. I've definitely seen some better cover art for this book, but these two were a prolific writing duo, and this one is supposedly quite good, so I'll be getting to that one. We've then got Restoree by Anne McCaffrey. I'm not entirely sure what this one is about. And I picked that one up from an Oxfam Books, which had a huge collection of Anne McCaffrey books in it. And so I picked up another one here with a really nice cover art. The Ship Who Sang, which I think is about a woman's mind being transferred into the mechanisms of a spaceship. When I spoke to the woman at the till, she told me that she couldn't sleep because she was reading this one and couldn't stop thinking about it and couldn't leave it unfinished. And she told me that after I bought the book, so it wasn't any kind of hard sale or anything. We've then got Ursula Le Guin with Rocannon's World. This is, I think, the first book that was published in her Hainish Cycle series. It looks to be a very short one, and it has some interesting cover art on the front there. Couple of books here then by Christopher Stasheff with The Warlock in Spite of Himself, which I thought was a funny title. I'm pretty sure that these ones are science fantasy more than science fiction, but I'm not too sure. So if you've read any of these books or any of Stasheff's writing, let me know. I've then got The Warlock Unlocked, which I think is the second book in that series. Again, by some of the cover art, you are sort of getting some of those more fantastical vibes. And then finishing up that little set, we've got King Kobold, which I do think has some nice cover art. I'm not entirely sure that I am going to read these books, so I might end up selling them on. We will see. I then picked up the best of Marion Zimmer Bradley, which again I think is probably more fantasy than it is science fiction, although when I read the blurb there was a mention of aliens. So this is a collection of short stories. Marion Zimmer Bradley is a controversial figure, to perhaps put it a bit lightly, so look into that if you're intrigued at learning more. I've then got quite a few Brian Aldiss books which I picked up in a set. Firstly, we've got the Heliconia trilogy. So this is his big sprawling series, and the first book is called Heliconia Spring. Again, these ones have some really nice cover illustrations with that vulture looking creature looking out over that landscape, and they're actually wraparound covers as well. So you've got this serpentine creature on the back. That one is followed up by Heliconia Summer, which is the longest book in the trilogy, and it has this yeti creature looking out over this kind of harbour area, and once again it has some wraparound cover art. There's that serpent creature again in the bay, and then lastly in that trilogy we've got Heliconia Winter, showing one of those yeti creatures again, wraparound cover art, and once again serpent creature on the back. So that is the Heliconia trilogy by Brian Aldiss. We've then got The 80-Minute Hour by Brian Aldiss. Earthworks by Brian Aldiss, with this robot creature emitting some lightning. The Canopy of Time by Brian Aldiss, with some kind of futuristic cityscape, which looks quite cool. Comic Inferno, I nearly said Cosmic Inferno, by Brian Aldiss. Once again, another futuristic city on the cover there. And then Brothers of the Head by Brian Aldiss, which I think is about a man with multiple heads who starts a punk rock band, which sounds kind of funny. And then lastly, Hot House by Brian Aldiss, which I've actually already read, and I think I prefer the edition that I've got, which I might dig out in a minute here. So Hot House by Brian Aldiss, I'll probably get rid of that one as well, since I've already got a copy. And yeah, this is the edition that I had previously, where I think I prefer this strange artwork on the front. It's not in particularly great condition, so maybe I will end up keeping both. I'm not too sure yet. So that is everything in the collection today. Like I say, I'm a little bit behind on videos because I've not been particularly well. Maybe you can hear that in my voice. I think the next video is going to be a review of The Snow Queen by Joan D. Vinci, and then following that I'm going to be getting back to one of my double reviews where I'm going to be talking about both Hawksbill Station by Robert Silverberg, and then doing a bit of a time travel theme. I'm going to be talking about Tau Zero by Paul Anderson, which I have yet to finish. I'm about halfway through that one. I think by the time this video goes live, I will have hit 800 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. Thank you very much for watching, liking, and subscribing. I always appreciate you guys letting me know your thoughts in the comments, so please do that below this video, and I'll see you on the next one.